All right, friends, welcome to episode 2. This is a great episode. I've got Tommy Schaeffer. He is the owner of Polymathus, and he does web development and audio engineering, and he also has a nonprofit called Sailing for Good. And we have an exciting conversation and talk about his business, talk about his nonprofit. So definitely tons of value here. And so stay tuned and check it out. Thank you. All right.
Recording has started. I consent.
Awesome. I consent too. Thanks, Tommy.
You consent too.
Nice to have you here. Yeah, this is StreamYard. I use it for my podcast and recording client meetings and various things as well. But yeah, today I'm trying out a new feature, which is going to record on each of our systems locally. So I think at the end, like once I hit kind of end recording, it might take a few minutes to upload your version to the cloud. What it does is allows, depending on our internet speed, it'll get a better version because it's recording for you locally, and same for me.
Dude, I love this. It's like the universe coming together. This shit happens for a reason, kind of thing. There's another, and sorry, StreamYard. This is the first time I ever heard of you guys. If you're listening, but there's some other company, and I can't even remember the name now, that I tucked away in my list of like backlog items to investigate later, and that was exactly this feature. I'm an audio engineer, and COVID destroyed the public's tolerance, or destroyed audio engineering, but it gave the public's tolerance of audio like the lowest bar on the ground. Like everyone's cool with like miserable recordings, CNN included, like top level. I just sit at home like poking my eyes with like this kind of thing is. I'm bummed because I thought of it at the beginning of COVID. I'm just sitting there and I could be running one of these companies right now, and it pisses me off because
I know, right?
follow my gut, man. It's get this stuff local, even if it's the shitty mic on the computer. Like my thought was like send my audio gear to a person and give them instructions how to use it. Like that model would fall apart in a second.
No, definitely.
The halfway mark, man. Sorry, I'll shut up, but
oh no, you're all good.
It strikes a nerve.
Yeah, let's real quick, let's address the questions you had. I'm gonna share my screen.
Thanks, man. Sorry for that. I just took half of the meeting.
No, that's good. Yeah, it gives us more to chat about. Let's see here. So first, Tommy shared with me before just in an email today. I guess you got contacted by this company, Best Phoenix.
Yes, a while ago. This was the first one of this kind. Like it was like it looked like spam, but I gave it another look. Wait a minute, this is worth looking into. So I answered it skittishly, but it looks like it. I don't know. My question to you was like, yeah, is this stuff legit? So yeah, thanks.
Yeah, definitely. So is your site on this one now?
It is number 7, I believe.
Yep. There you are. Yeah, so that's a good question. I've been on some of these as well in the past, and so the first thing just on looking without kind of doing any intel, I would say it looks legitimate. But one thing I wanted to just double check beforehand, because I guess if you're going to put your site out on other websites, the first thing you want to do is check their kind of domain strength, because their domain strength would say if they're a spammy site or if they're in trouble with Google. So I went over to this site called, let's see here, called Ahrefs.
Yes, I know it. Yes.
Yeah. And I basically popped in each of the domains into this to check the authority, and this is what I got.
Awesome, dude. Thanks for doing this homework beforehand.
Yeah. So the Phoenix review, obviously it's 42 is still a pretty decent site. I feel like the e-marketed site's probably around between 30 and 40 also. It's been around forever. So the Phoenix review it has a 42, 1.6 backlink. So what that means is 1,600 links are pointing towards this site.
To it.
Yeah. And then linking websites, this could be linking out to. And anyways, yeah, 42 for me. It's both sites are good sites, and actually the second one that reached out to you just recently, Design Rush, is super strong. So
Yeah,
89.
that's why I was when I saw that pop on the screen, I thought, "Whoa," because I was more skittish over Design Rush, and I was completely wrong in my gut feeling because that's really strong.
Yeah, yeah, super strong. So yeah, any like site like that's just going to help your SEO. That's basically Google looks at which different sites are pointing to you, and if it's one of your friends is linking to you, but they don't have any domain rating or domain authority, then that's not really going to boost the needle up. A site from these two sites are decent, especially a Design Rush site. That's gonna definitely going to help increase your domain authority. So yeah,
Dude,
I would.
man, I
Yeah,
love this because they're in my inbox now, and I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna reply, but that changes today.
yeah,
Cool.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So that's good. Yeah, where do we leave off? You had talked. We talked last on live Instagram a couple weeks ago, and Tommy was struggling with whether to kind of split out his businesses, audio and web, or keep them together. And yeah, where are you at with that now?
Yeah, I had enough time to think about it, think about what we talked about, and it's probably dangerous because it put like it gave me time to think about all the reasons why I did what I did. And in the context of our call, I was like, "Oh yeah, good idea," but not thinking of all the foundation that I laid out. But I don't know if it's the right choices, right? So I thought, you know what, today I'm just gonna push back politely and present those
Yeah.
things as a argument, so to speak, and have a discussion around it. I
Okay.
didn't,
Yeah.
I didn't prepare anything other than
Y-
that mentality,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
it might be worth talking through. I
Yeah.
don't know if
Definitely.
and
Yeah.
this
Let's
is
discuss. Let's pull up your site real quick. I
very
did
good.
notice, and you might want to fix this
Oh
ASAP.
no, something so I know.
So your logo is not, for whatever reason, on my computer. It's not showing up right now.
Oh my
You'll
goodness,
you'll see.
that's
It's like a little blank box up there.
oh man.
Yeah, I should have given you some notice before we.
No, that's
Yeah.
okay. This is even better. I get my live reaction because
Yeah.
the
Live
whole thing is
reaction.
like
Yeah.
a bummer.
Yeah.
I tested the living crap out of this stuff, but it's only on select systems, right? And it's
Oh
all
yeah. Right.
on so
I
wow,
know.
that's
That's definitely one of the, yeah, tough things about this job as far as like designing websites. There's so many different browsers, so many different operating systems, and now in the last, we've got mobile and iPads and blah blah blah. It's just so yeah. On your computer, are you not seeing this
I can
problem?
see it now. Or yeah, no, sorry. On yours, I see it, but let me bring up I'm gonna pop open an incognito browser now, as is as as unaware as possible as I can do on my
Oh,
own
you know what?
system.
When I scroll down though, boom, bam, it on scrolling it shows up.
Ah, so it's a problem in the main header, not the sticky header, so to speak.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, because yeah, I'm seeing it live, and in fact, it looks better on the. I was gonna say I don't even have a sticky header, but yeah, there it goes. It was slow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the sticky header. I might redesign it because the sticky header looks better. The colors are matching way freaking better than the.
Yeah. So that's like one of the problems with I. If you go, we can pull up my site in a second, but I've got like a big. Yeah, let's just pull up my site real quick too, because it's similar, like with a big image in the background. I would say like right now, depending on the image you have, it's sometimes the text is a little kind of hard
Totally
to read,
lost on
especially
that
when
one.
it's orange
Yeah.
too. It's like I can't even read that. But yeah, let me pull up.
And even worse, that's actually getting this whatever size your screen is, that's supposed to be a lot higher, and then you lose
Oh,
it in the sky up there. So it's even worse by when it's behaving properly.
okay.
So I
Yep,
need to put
yep.
an overlay on that. That's a good point. I haven't.
Yeah.
It's
So here,
amazing.
and that's a good point too. So I'm on a laptop. I believe my resolutions. I'm on it's 14-inch laptop.
Okay.
That's like another factor. One of my guys that works for me, he's got like a just a Megatron monitor. So it's funny because I'm always looking at laptops. He's looking on his big monitor. So sometimes we catch things, and it's just that's just another factor you got to look at. Yeah,
Kind
I
of
just wanted to show my
yeah,
site real quick and just
whole
kind of the
world of
difference.
things. Yeah, you.
Yeah, right.
Sorry, I'll shut up.
Oh, no, you're all good. But yeah, see how this kind of pops more. I mean, we're still on that background image, but the text is kind of boom. It's easier to read, even the navigation, even when you're hovering, changing colors, it's like they all stand out. Logo too. So I would say probably maybe turn down the or turn up the transparency just so it's a little
Do you
just I think
recommend I get turned up?
or turn up.
The kids say that these days. You know what's funny, Matt, and this is like a you and me discussion here. Like we're looking at my personal website, but I feel like to really be to get the most critical on my approach to a website design,
Yeah.
you should be
Uh-huh.
looking at my clients because mine's
Okay.
I'm seeing all these things as soon as you show them. It's like, oh, I would never do that on a client's website. What am I thinking? It's on my
Right.
own. I would put a dark overlay on that and done.
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
And I'm
hilarious. I
sure
know,
you
right? Yeah,
understand
sometimes
that.
our own websites, like yeah, that's fun. Yeah, well, let's jump into the discussion then. I'd love some pushback. So yeah, I guess the pushback was I was talking about splitting these two services, and yeah, yeah. What are your thoughts? Now, before you jump into your thoughts, I definitely think there are crossover for sure. So, but yeah, what are you thinking?
Yeah, and I what I guess my main question is what how fast do I talk? Are we sticking in this half hour or do you have extra time? Or
Yeah, I could probably go to 10:45. So yeah, you don't rush it.
okay, I won't rush it and sacrifice. But that's perfect because I had a half hour gap between you and the next guy. So if we
Okay.
bleed a little bit, that's great. But yeah, so for the recording, this is stuff we talked about already, but there's the Sailing for Good site as well. So I think I have three major, four if you count myself, like the personal brand, but three major business things that are up in the air and irons in the fire, and that's the Sailing for Good, and then the bimodal Polymathus, in that it's audio engineering, which I started as, and then more the website and software development, which I evolved deeper into. A because of COVID, and B because it more aligns with the life that I want underneath Sailing for Good, and being way more nomadic and being able to build websites anywhere and anytime. The
Mhm,
audio
mhm,
engineering is really location specific. It's literally called location audio engineer is the
mhm,
position that I play.
mhm.
So like I go to people's places and record the engineering. So that was half for me, half for you, and half for the
Got it.
recording, or thirds. Split that in thirds.
Right.
Yeah. Um, so then I don't know if you have it in your email yet or saw it, but
Yeah.
I had a thought laying around the other day of a whiteboard Venn diagram I made. I think it was in like 2018. Oh, you have it. This is amazing.
Yeah.
And after I was ruminating on our talk and thinking way back, thinking of my future, and I was like, wait a minute, I accidentally stumbled on this years ago, and I scribbled it in here. And yeah, the words on the sides are less relevant because it's other projects, other notes. But yeah, this is how what I wanted to push with is that rather than splitting it up, which I think is an easier, quicker solution, I think the big challenge that I'm faced with is how do we put it together
Mm,
well? How do we put it
mhm.
together beautifully? And I still, it's, what is it, 5 years ago I wrote this picture, and I still
Mhm, mhm.
don't know what that purple star is. And
Mm,
maybe I
okay.
spend my
Uh-huh,
life
uh-huh.
figuring that out, and that is
Sure.
my sole purpose. I don't know. But so like high level, and it's self-explanatory mostly, but like, I love risk and adventure. I love art and creativity. I love science and engineering with an engineering background, with a theater background, a double degree. And then who doesn't love hiking and sailing and all those things? Those are the big circles. And that day when I was thinking through that, I was like, man, when these overlap, like risk and art, like totally makes my improv life. I was like, well, that's why I love improv so much, because I'm
Mm,
taking a
mhm.
risk and it's artistic. And then engineering and art overlapped to make the digital music that I love so much. It's like, holy
Mhm.
shit, this is I get goosebumps now that I'm talking about it. I was like, this feels like the right path. Like I
Okay.
feels like
Yeah.
this is the path that the person and the businesses that I enjoy running needs to be on somehow, but I don't know how to build it.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and I wish I could just spit out the
And the answer is
and the answer is no, but you know what? You're onto something though, because I was talking to my wife, Alana, who you know, just about this
Ellen.
recently with my business and kind of the path and direction too. And yeah, you said something that kind of reminded me of that was that you're excited about those things, and so that's important. And also that kind of middle area, I think over time it could shift. And I'm part of this monthly community, and the guy that kind of runs it always talks about how a lot of times we're told you got to pick the niche and you got to go in on it 100%. And then but he was just talking about his career, and he started off as a designer developer, and now he's teaching in community. He still runs his agency, but he said over time it just naturally emerged, and it wasn't like he ever decided like, okay, I'm going to do this. And he shifted as like things came into his awareness, and at one point he
oh,
was in healthcare, and so he was down that. And yeah, for me, I'm like recently with my podcast I started creating shorts, and I finally figured out a really nice way to. I'll probably take this episode right now that we're talking, and I'll probably cut it up into maybe 5 or 6 little short videos, like 10 to 30-second videos. And I was thinking, oh, that's like a demand. It's something I like doing, and something I could probably offer as like a service to companies.
that's brilliant. Oh, as a
Anyways, but
service,
yeah,
there you go. That
yeah, yeah. And
that's I think that's the power of this Venn diagram thing. And the next level up from the 3 circle one that I'm showing you is this the have you heard of the concept ikigai? It's a Japanese
oh,
concept.
yeah. What's it called?
Ikigai, Ikigai.
Okay, you know what?
And
Maybe
it's
I
it's
haven't.
not 3 circles, but it's 4, and it's less like these are all specific to what I like, art and creativity, but the ikigai takes it abstracts that to things you're good at, things you can make money at, things you that the world needs, and there's the fourth
Hmm.
one I can't remember at this moment, but then they all come together and blah blah blah. It's
Mm.
beautiful. I'll send you the I have
Okay,
a
yeah.
whole
Send me it. Yeah, yeah. I'll put it in the
yeah,
show notes. I think this is turning into a podcast. If you're okay with that, Tommy.
yeah, absolutely. Because I while you were talking, you said something that you said this guy didn't pick a spot to go after. It's just things came into awareness, and that made the hair on the back of my neck stand up because I was talking about this with my friend yesterday, and I know I'm on the right path, and like I even know distractions when I see them. And my buddy, I'm gonna throw this is like rabbit hole number 5, so I apologize.
No, no, this is
My
fun.
buddy
I'm
showed
loving
me a
it.
quote the other day that says, "There are no obstacles in your way to the main goal. There are just smaller goals that are easier to get to." And I know that's worded
Oh.
better in the thing, but like when we take those, right? It's the path of least resistance. We're like, oh, this needs to get done and this needs to get done. But none of
Yes.
them are taking you, they're all taking you away from that mission. So nowadays I'm like, all right, I just got pulled to the side doing something. Is this side step still on the path? Still
Mhm.
doing something that's keeping me to that big, really difficult thing to get to,
Mhm.
easy to keep putting the frick off. And if it
Right.
is, then yeah, do the side thing. But if it's not, burn it and
But
walk
yeah,
away.
yeah, I get it. For sure, for sure.
And
And yeah,
that's
that's why I'm like,
so that
yeah,
thing
go
that
ahead,
you
go ahead.
say when it
Mhm.
comes into awareness, it's like as long as you stay on that path, all that the trees that are falling in and blocking your way, like that you're supposed to use that log, but you just don't know how yet. Or the
Yes.
leaf that just floats in front of you, that's a sign for something, and grab it.
Yes.
And it's like a
Yeah.
game, right? Where you like pick up the key and the gold, and it gives you an extra life later, but you don't know how. It's like to give a game analogy.
Yeah. No, totally. Yeah, and a lot sometimes too, we don't know what to do with the tree. But even this idea I have with creating shorts for other kind of podcasts and video creators, who knows where that will take me. Maybe I'll start off and I'll like start doing that for others, and then it could lead to who knows, it could lead to meeting somebody that leads to meeting somebody else who's like, oh hey, you should do this, and I'm like, oh, I never thought of that. It's,
Yes! And,
yeah.
like, the end goal is something you don't even know exists yet,
Yeah,
and you just keep walking, and it's "Holy crap, look at
I
that, I wanna
know.
go there," and now the path is it lengthened by 20 miles because you can see that far. It's just I love
Yes.
the analogy, and it just
Yeah.
makes me
Yeah, the
fired up.
synchronicity of it all. It's just even us. I mean, Tommy and I met, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago through another friend who was happened to be in Los Angeles, and then
Really random, right? Like, when
yeah,
you think
super
about it,
random.
you should explain it.
yeah, super random. A friend of a friend, your friend was a friend of my wife's, and they were sailors, and Tommy's a sailor, and they live in Arizona. I was always wondering, like, how are they sailing in Arizona? But anyways, they do it. They have lakes and rivers. But yeah, no, it's so
Yeah.
funny. And then here
It's
we
so
are,
great to meet you
you
there
know,
because like, I was on a high from my very first trip that wasn't just a day sail around a lake or a day sail around the harbor in San Diego, which is, as a beginner sailor, a day sail in a harbor is pretty stressful with all the boats and stuff to not hit. But this was a trip to Catalina Island and back, where like every trip before that was like 7 miles out and back. So a 14-mile day would be a huge day, but this was 70 miles. And now compared to my smallest trip being 700 miles, like the little Catalina trip that I met you on is like
oh yeah,
horrible. But
right.
it was mind blowing to me at the time I met you, and I was like, it was so neat to meet you, and then your wife, and like you have this business. It was like, wow, the whole like my world. It's just all unfolding right in front of you.
Yeah, no. So, and then
It's
yeah,
so
Tommy and I like we tried doing some sales. I hired Tommy as a salesperson for a minute, and anyways, that was fun
that was my point
too.
in life to realize that I'm not a good salesman.
And
I'm not a good
you know
salesperson.
what? No, that's not true. I think it was probably my. I also was not a good. I didn't arm you properly. Anyways, that's a tough job, and
It
I
really
think
is.
like
I
I
have
didn't set you up for
mutual respect
success, and
too.
I hired you and another friend of mine, Carrie, and I was excited about it, but I feel like I didn't equip you guys properly. Anyways, but it was still like still learn from that experience.
And no, to kudos to you because it was learning for me. It was I learned by struggling through the mud, and now I'm my own web business is like
Yeah,
pieces of that, and I'm
right. Yeah.
absolutely able to tap into what I did wrong and not do it again.
Yeah.
So it was very helpful and
Yeah.
for both of us, I hope.
Yeah. Oh, for sure, for sure. It's just yeah, it's we're constantly learning, and it's yeah. And I think that's one of the reasons why I love running my own thing is that it's I think you have more of those opportunities to constantly learn and adapt and pivot, and I think it's harder when you get into a box of my job is this, and it could still happen, right? I think you just have to yeah, I think you could still make it happen.
I love that you say that because it makes me it compares like how my old life was in corporate America. Like, you do this and these are your bullet points, and like any stray from there was like you have to look over your shoulder and make sure you don't get caught. But like
Mm-hmm.
working for myself, like I'll go off down a rabbit hole and watch videos of a DJ music making for some reason because that enlighten or that lights my
Yes.
soul. But and it's not contributing directly to the construction of the website that I'm putting off
Hmm.
building me and like
Hmm.
eventually somewhere down the line that's gonna show up again as a skill and that shit happened all the time on film sets. We're building these worlds and there's no use for a mechanical engineer here, right? You're just an audio engineer. But no, I can't tell you how many times I stepped out of the audio engineering, I was gonna say shoes, but we'll say headphones,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
helped a guy with a camera problem because he and I remember this one specifically, he was trying to shoot a close up of a woman in a mirror that was one of those makeup mirrors
Okay.
on the
Yeah.
nightstand, and he
Hmm.
couldn't get focus, and I'm like and the engineer in me is like, "That's a parabolic mirror and not flat." So, like, he's never gonna get focus
Okay.
because the surface
You
is
mean it's
curved.
oh, it's curved? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so I was like, it's the magnifying mirrors, they're parabolic, and but
Oh,
it
yeah,
doesn't look
yeah.
like it because the glass on front is
Uh-huh.
flat. So I was like, "We're gonna have a little talk with this guy, and I'm gonna try and not I have to keep in my lane, but, like, TikTok, we're not getting the shot, and I know how to fix it." It's good.
Yeah, yeah,
It was
yeah.
wonderful. It was like, always be learning and always be using
Yeah,
every
yeah. There's a bunch of meaning, right, in that story, right, with the mirror. Why is life like this? But it's curved. It's
exactly. Absolutely.
so
That's great.
let's get back to your sites. So what are your thoughts then with you? And I've like I said, I think even with my kind of deal with e-marketed and even this kind of shorts business idea, and then my new this podcast or that I'm doing Everyman's Hustle and teaching a course, and yeah, I think too, it's like how do I combine those things in, and any kind of thoughts on that, or just keeping it underneath the polymath
It's
umbrella?
like when I gosh, and it's hard to keep this short,
Yeah.
but like when I first started branching out into this freelance stuff and building Polymathus, I remembered my days at Allied Signal Aerospace, and we were in a three sector company where we had aerospace materials and like truck brakes or something like, and it was like these, and it was like, so I can do these really diverse things under one umbrella. And I followed that path for a long time. And even in materials, it was their engineered materials for aerospace, and then their films and plastics, and just ridiculously diverse. And it's Honeywell now for those who want to poke around. And Honeywell's even more diverse because
Mm.
when Allied Signal was purchased by Honeywell, then they brought in avionics, and I think we were doing landing gear, and engine, but yeah, a million. So anyway, it was like, okay, I want to take all of the things that I love and do, and then and make this conglomerate. But
Yeah.
it apparently takes a lot of finesse and skill to do that glamorously.
Mhm.
Trying to figure it out. And you, sir, last time we talked, had said, and it's resonated deeply, and that is there's sellable or even very interesting about the dude building websites on a boat. Not even
Mhm.
necessarily on the boat, but what stirred my memory of, hey, this client's website was launched in Panama, and this guy I launched in Barcelona. And while
Mhm.
that means nothing to the client, it's an exciting it's exciting for me
Mhm.
to
Mhm.
do it
Yeah.
there, but it's
Yeah.
also like maybe there's something there that I don't know what it is yet. So I
Mhm.
think that's how we slam the sailing into this. I don't know what it
Mhm.
looks like yet,
Mhm.
visual.
Yeah. No, I like it. I think, yeah, I guess maybe can you say a little more about the Sailing for Good again? It's been a little while. So
Sure,
is
and it's the newest venture in my life, and I started in, shoot, 2018, and then a bunch of distractions like a pandemic and stuff, and my own life, but, essentially, the elevator pitch is it's a nonprofit organization with the intent of giving people high level mission is give people a chance to see the world differently, and that's meant, like, literally and figuratively. Like, you stand on the deck of a sailboat and look to shore, like way different than what almost all of us get to see standing on the beach and looking out to the horizon of the ocean. Like when I
Mhm.
was
Mhm.
first offshore, I was like, holy shit, that's Ventura Beach. I've been there 1,000 times, but I've never seen it from this side. It's so
Right.
fascinating.
Yeah.
So like that, and then to distill that down as the nonprofit is to give people who don't have the ability financially, don't have the ability physically, or and then more specifically, cancer survivors, people surviving depression and rehabilitation people. I don't know how you say it, but this is my quick version. I'm trying to
Mhm.
stay succinct. But like all these things that like either affected me myself personally or close friends. So lost a lot of friends to suicide, didn't need to, and so
Mm.
got real acute awareness of mental health.
Mhm.
uh,
Mhm.
and cancer, same thing. I think everyone has a story of losing someone close that way. So yeah, focusing on those groups, but knowing that we get big enough and make enough money, we could give it to anyone. Ambition is,
Mhm.
vision is everyone on earth have a chance. Vision's always unattainable, and so you have to start with who do we start with? Oh, and
Right. Who
it's
do yeah.
now I'm at 7,000 nautical miles, not 6,869.
Okay. Okay.
That needs updating as well. Darn it.
Nice. Yeah, I love it. So, do you take like small crews out, or have you like?
Yeah, so far it's been individuals and
Mhm.
then
Mhm.
families,
Okay. Yep.
on mostly in fact, solely day trips. I've been on
Okay.
a lot of long passages, but none of them have been taking these individuals out. Yeah,
Mm.
just short trips, day trips, and the most recent proof of concept was just down in Panama, and there's this beach club that we went to all the time called Palmar, and we made friends with all the staff, and they're all locals to Panama, and
Mhm.
it's just we see them doing their day in day out job, and they served us so greatly. And I swear they would see our flashlights coming in the jungle and start pouring the gin and tonics for us, and they're and the, so we're first name basis, hugs all the time, smile, and
Aw.
they're just
Uh-huh.
beautiful people. And I we got to talking one day, and I was like, Jimmy, come on out with us sometime. And me and my buddy, Captain Buddy down there, I'll try to keep names out of it.
Yeah,
You can
yeah.
bleep that. But like, we took him, we gave him a chance to come out for the day, just a day trip from a local marina to a really cool beach called Starfish Beach, and it's named aptly because there's starfish everywhere, and it's just a
Mm.
beautiful place. And he brought his 3 kids and his wife, and 5 days before the trip and 12 after, I think I got 2 messages and voicemails every other day saying thank you, and it
Aw,
just I almost tear up to telling the story, and that was,
yeah,
like, one of the first times I actually did the full proof of concept for this idea, and it just fell into
mhm,
place. Again, being on that path, I was on another trip, I'm like, "Oh, let's take them out. Oh my god,
right,
wait, this is completely aligned with my business model, like,
yes,
this was business related, and I thought we were just having fun, and,
right,
like, it couldn't get bleeping easier." It
right, yeah,
uh, yeah, it basically filled in a lot of gaps that I had in the business plan. I'm like, "I don't know and it's just like, it was
yeah.
right here the whole time. I don't
Oh, I
know,
love it,
was
I love it. I think, have you gotten any just one idea that came to me right now, I love that story, and it's yeah, I can see how you love it, and helping others that, like, might not ever experience it is just that's such a gift, and bringing
like,
people
how
out.
warm does that make your heart? And
Oh,
it's on a
you're on a
boat with
boat,
babes in
in the
bikinis
ocean,
and,
it's
like,
like
and the people
pretty
in it's
cool.
just it's
It's like,
perfect.
it's perfect, I wanna go.
I see a need.
I'll do
I've already put my nonprofit under by doing it
yeah.
wrong. I don't know even how to say it. Go ahead, sorry, you had an
Oh,
awesome
so
idea.
yeah, so my business mind was just like, oh, I was wondering, have you ever thought about getting like some sponsors that could possibly fund some trips, and then they would be involved in the, let's say you approach some businesses and you're like, look, it's costs $5,000, you sponsor 2 days of, and we take out various people, and you could even pick the people, maybe it's people in your organization or anyways, but yeah, that might be a good way to.
That's definitely the end all be all, and this is where I'm stuck in that business is I got the nonprofit done, all the paperwork done for the state. It's the easiest thing you can do. You just check a bunch of boxes, sign some papers, and you're a nonprofit.
Mhm,
Poof,
mhm,
magic. The real deal of becoming a tax exempt, we recognized as tax exempt by the federal government,
mhm,
is the instructions are 40 pages alone.
mhm,
I just been stuck in the mud, basically overwhelmed, saying I can't do it, and all mental bullsh bleep that, that just between this call and our last call, I've gotten some momentum just personally. I was like, "You know what? I'm so scared of these instructions, and I keep trying to get a lawyer to help me, but I can't
mhm,
find the right one, or they're at $5,000." I'm like, "I have 0 right now. I don't
mhm,
wanna
mhm,
start with that, blah, blah, blah." I sat down, I went to the IRS, I printed out the instructions, like, "You know what? I'm just gonna sit by the fire and read this boring shit." And
mhm.
how hard it really is, and guess what? Half of it is doesn't even apply to the type of 501(c)(3) that I am.
Oh,
So
okay.
now it's 20 pages, but now it's a real dense 20 pages of a lot of work
Mhm,
that needs to be done, but
mhm.
it's like half as intimidating.
Okay,
So,
yeah, yeah.
eh,
I yeah, that paperwork is always it's so intimidating. It's just, and
especially
that's why
federal government
I've
level,
had
right?
like good had a good bookkeeper and a good accountant over the years. I just like anything I get, I'm just like, here, over you. I don't want to. Can you interpret what this is and just do what we need to do, and
See, and
tell me where I need to sign, and
I
if I need
resist
to
that
send
so
any
much,
money.
and I feel like it's only hurting me over time, and I need to be more like you. You know what? When I'm making enough money and hire somebody to do that, and then I could just focus on stay in the lane of the strategic and not
Yeah.
figuring out what tax laws changed this year. Like, that's a
Oh
full-time
yeah.
job for people.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it is. Yeah, and it's overwhelming, and I think it definitely prevents people from moving forward. A good service, and I'll see if I can figure out if it's something I can like add you into it, so you could like make a call. But we use LegalZoom, and we pay. I think it's like $200 or $300 a year, and basically you can call and schedule calls. I want to say it's a limited amount of calls with lawyers, and you ask them questions, and
Oh my
you fill
god.
out a little form ahead of time, and say, "Oh, you ask the questions," and then they're ready, and they also navigate. Oh, this is the right attorney for you to talk to, and
Oh my
then
goodness.
and they're super like yeah, Lana was just she was talking about something with her music business just recently and scheduled the call. And
Mm.
obviously if the 20-minute, 30-minute call, there might be more stuff to do where you actually have to hire them. And we found it super helpful just
But
even in
that's
the
way farther than just sitting in the room like, "I don't know how to do this," doing a Google
yeah.
search after Google search and landing on the
Mhm.
same, like, it there's still
Yeah, that's the
as
thing.
strong as Google has become, there's still so many endless searches when we're really looking for this specific kinda shit.
Right. Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's the thing too. You talk to a lawyer who's they've been doing it for 10, 20 years and they like, "Oh, you need to get this form. Don't do that form." You know what I mean? It's just like
Yeah, and that's on page 8 of a Google
right.
SERP that you never would have gotten to. You get this, man, you get it.
Yeah, yeah.
That's like having counsel, that's like having legal counsel
Yeah, I know
300
for
bucks a
like
year.
just a
I know.
tiny that 2 or $300 for the year is like half hour or 1 hour of an attorney's
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
That's just asking them if they would like to represent you for the year,
Right. That's
and
the
then
down
you're at
payment,
your
right.
budget, and you're like, "Yes, I will," but, too late. Out of money.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I think that would be awesome. I think that's I would like 'cause I feel like organizations or and they have obviously they have a certain amount that they every year they it's a once you are fully a tax nonprofit, then it's like they give away a certain amount every year and that's going to be good for your PR. You work with these companies, that adds for to your exposure, and it seems like a win-win around the board.
You're so and that's exactly what I keep putting the pressure back on myself. I was like, "Get these
Hmm.
documents done," because it's hard to imagine, but there's literally companies at the end of the year, "What am I gonna do with this
Right?
$20,000?" And I'm like,
Yeah. Or what am I
"There's
going to do with
no way
this?
to
I have
get
an
it
extra
out there."
100,000. I got to spend it.
Yeah. Show me those people. Because but, like, right now, and to get into the weeds a little bit, like, until I get that approved, I can't make more than $5,000, which is great. I've only been
Oh,
making
for the
0 this
year?
whole time, but once you cross 5,000, now you have to start paying taxes on it. But
Oh.
you could make some money as a nonprofit even without the tax exempt status,
Mhm.
as long as you stay under 5K, because that's not worth the time for the IRS
For the
to
year.
for the year, yeah, so that's a
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
very small amount. It certainly wouldn't be a way to operate, but, like, now that I'm not operating really at all yet and just trying to build it, like, I'm trying to stay at 0, but I have to remember I can make a couple of bucks. But, anyway, sorry, that's
Yeah.
way in the weeds, but
Yeah. I think, and so that's like a great brings us back to your business and the sailing and doing both and how they all together. And it's yeah, I feel like there's synergy there for sure.
yeah,
And
funny you
cross
say that.
promotion and
It's funny you say synergy because if you check the website for Sailing for Good, it's one of 6 core values for the company. It's
uh,
one of I love it.
yes, I see that. Yeah. Yep. Can I give you just I'm a, I have an eye for user experience, and I just want to point it out real quick. So this at the bottom here, this thank you for visiting is pretty light. I would bring that up a little.
Oh, you know what? This is great you bring it up because this is back when I was really struggling. There's a lot of things I changed on this site since I've learned a bunch of things. You know what
Hmm.
that is, Matt, is an H1 tag that I didn't fit anywhere on the page, but I wanted to have Sailing for Good and an H1 on the home page, and
Oh,
but it didn't fit in the top in that because that's a what do you call it? One of them slider.
image.
It's
Oh, it's a
a
slider.
Revolution slider thingy, and but maybe that's just I didn't know enough back then, like, maybe that could just be an H1 in the Revolution slider, and then that solves it, and then I'll just cut that whole "Thanks for visiting" is corny in 1995 shit anyway. You just wanna oh,
Yeah, yeah, totally. Yeah, I would probably cut that. Yeah, definitely make. I would just remove the text from the image and have it be HTML, and yeah, have this sailing for good be the H1 up here for
yeah,
sure.
because right now it is text, but it's Sailing as one and For Good as another, but I think back then I just didn't know slider enough, and I know
Okay,
now
yep,
that I can go in and make an H1 tag for that, and
right.
because that's the right thinking, right? Like, homepage for search like, you want an H1 with the company name at least on the homepage, right?
Yeah, or not even the company name. It could be like for me, it's for our site, it's the H1 is this, this up here. Usually the top of the page, your first kind of big title as I go
Oh, so it's
to
not even e-marketed, it's the tagline is your H1 on that page?
yes, yep, yep,
Oh, okay, so I was
yeah,
probably stressing for no reason
yeah,
then.
yep.
Oh, man. I don't wanna take you too far over your
Yeah,
next
yeah. So what's next steps for you then? Just continue brainstorming how to bring the two together
Yeah,
more.
yeah, and I think to stay on the path that really lights me up is the Sailing for Good, and even just telling you the story about the guys taking them out, like,
Yes.
staying on this path of getting this 501(c)(3) paperwork
Hmm.
in
Hmm.
is as monotonous as it is and as tedious and administrative as it is. I need to get that done because it does a good thing in that it's so detailed that it drives you to think about all the really important things about your company. Because I'm basically selling the concept to the IRS in not in get a grant context, because that's where you want
Hmm.
to say the good that you're doing in the world, but in the concept of I'm a repeatable, sustainable, no risk entity that they have given nonprofit exemption, tax exemption to before.
Hmm.
Uh, so how do I frame all of this foo-foo work into, hey, it's as easy as a pet shelter. you know, it's a great exercise that needs to be done, but it's really flipping boring.
Yeah. 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 Yeah,
So I
I'll
have
look
to
into.
stop saying that.
I'll get back to you on the legal Zoom thing and see if there's a way I can kind of add you to make a call or see.
That might be an amazing path because there
Yeah.
was like LegalZoom helps you with the 1023, which is what this form is, but only the easy form. I'm trying to
Hmm.
submit the long form because it'd be a great problem to have, but it only allows you to make 50,000 a year and have 250,000 in assets. And I'm
Hmm.
bazillion miles away from that right now. But
Hmm.
any business with a sailboat involved, like you're already talking about magnitudes of spending pretty high, and I don't want to have that constraint out of the
Yeah.
gate. So I
Right.
have to do it the hard way and do the
Hmm.
long
Hmm.
form and blah blah blah. Yeah.
Got it.
So anyway, that I could go on for hours and make you late.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks, Tommy. I'll post some since this is now impromptu, turning this into a podcast. There will be links to Tommy's websites in the show notes
Do
down
what they do on
below.
in YouTube. They never know where it's gonna be.
Right. Yeah.
It's
I'm
hilarious. I got
pretty
it's like
confident it's going to be down below. You'll be able to visit his web development, audio engineering website, and his nonprofit called Sailing for Good. And also, I'll post links to him on Instagram as well, so you can connect with him and follow him. And yeah, we'll check in with you in maybe a couple weeks and keep the ball rolling.
that sounds good. They want to see you next time and say, "Here's the stack of papers that are going in." And then
Yeah,
we wait. And then we wait.
awesome. All right, Tommy. Good seeing you.
Thank you, man. This
Thank
this has
you.
been a lot in a little bit of time, so I appreciate it.
Yes, yes, yeah. All right. All right, folks. Thanks for listening or watching or both. And yeah, if you found value in this, please like and share and subscribe to our channel on YouTube. And yeah, stay tuned for more episodes. We've got a bunch coming out in the next couple weeks. So yeah, hope you are inspired to start your own hustle or start your own business, and or just continue working hard at your own business or the company you work with and improve your skills and your value. So anyways, thanks again for listening. Have a good one. Bye.